So select a pose that will suit the dress and an alternate head angle. You never want to copy directly from the photo. Create something new, like a jigsaw puzzle of different references. So if you can draw at an angle, a drawing board is best. And starting at the head, think about your proportions, leaving enough space for the elongated legs for that classic fashion illustration look. Sketch kind of oval shape. I've used this sort of the chin tilted up a little bit to give a kind of haughty look. Map the face out, paying particular attention to spaces in between. Moving down to the shoulder and pushing that waist forward, bringing in the arm and paying attention to elongating the fingers. I like that really nipped in waist of the dress, so I'm going to emphasise that by putting both hands on the waist. So just sort of paying attention to different angles, there's the reference, and really pushing that body forward, which will really work well with this beautiful dress. So getting in the other arm, you can see the sort of angle that the arms are at. They've got a lovely kind of juxtaposition between them and creates a really lovely shape. So I'm working down the body here, and I think it's really important to see what's going on underneath before you put the dress on over the top. So working out the centre front of the body will also help you do this. You need to move down the front of the leg and get the foot where the weight is, which should be directly beneath the head. Get that drawn in. I'm moving up the leg now and creating that really beautiful shape that is from the reference. So working up and going into the hip, it really sort of helps if you can work out what's going underneath when you get to clothe your model. So working down that second leg and working out the different angle, so between the knees and the feet, looking at the space in between, and then seeing the stress of that calf muscle coming up. I think it's really important to actually go to life drawing classes. That will really help when with the anatomy, when you're just so when you're working from the magazine tear sheets, you know exactly what the body looks like in real life. Okay, so I'm moving up to putting the garment on now and really paying attention to detail, looking at the raglan sleeve and the collar and the ruff that goes behind the head. I'm exaggerating that a bit, which you often want to do with fashion illustration, for dramatic effect. Trying to work out exactly how the dress is made. I can't see everything here, so I'm having to make a little bit of it up. But, if you had the dress in front of you, then, you'd be able to know exactly what's going on. But anyway, we've got the photograph to work from, so we just have to use a bit of artistic license. Working into the second sleeve and really nipping into the waist, working out where the waistband is, and then getting the rest of the dress in. Really paying attention to that lovely asymmetrical shape, and then working out the layers of the dress, which goes into that amazing pattern cutting that makes up that sort of rose shape. Absolutely beautiful dress. So I'm just sort of working up some of the folds here, again using a bit of artistic license because I can't really see where it's all going. Getting that train in. Not sure which bits go behind the feet and the legs. I'm just sort of making that up a little bit as I go along. So we've kind of got the finished ruff now. We've got the overall finished shape worked out with details of head, hair and hands. I'm going to now move on to the watercolour part. So there's no hard and fast rules. It's a really good time to just really enjoy it, have a great time and work out your style as you go. I really like to drop some water down first and then put the ink into it so you get some nice bleeds. And I work on a variety of contrasting lines, some sort of stronger areas, and then some really light washes, working on a lot of water on the page so you get some really nice bleeds and splashes. Don't be precious about your work. You know, remember the artist materials are really so much cheaper than, say, a fashion photographer. It's just a piece of paper, so throw it away if it's not working. Just have a really good time with it. Moving into putting a bit of detail into that ruff around the neck. You want to frame the face as nicely as you can. Always try and work on making something really beautiful, really elegant. Show off a dress as well as you can. So here I've dropped in some water and then I'm going to apply the paint into the water so you get all that sort of nice bleed happening. I keep turning on and off the light pad so you can see exactly what's going on and what it looks like when you've turned the light off, because it does look quite different. So just dropping that water in. I mean, it will drip a little bit because I'm working at an angle. Sometimes I'll put the light pad down so if I don't want it to drip, so you know, I might leave a little time in between. I love to sort of just throw paint around the page. So the base of the watercolour is done, more or less. I'm just going to add some details now in black. You don't have to use black, it's just my style, that sort of one or two colours plus black look. You might want something more tonal. So it's up to you, just have fun with this part. So I'm just defining around the face and head now. I use a calligraphy brush. It's about 1.5 inches long. Absolutely love this brush. Came across it by accident, actually. But yeah, I mean, basically you can use the very fine tip or use it on its side, so you could do some really heavier lines. I'm still adding some water here, even for the black, to make it bleed in parts, so it doesn't look perfect. Perfection is overrated. So I'm just sort of keep sitting back and looking at what this needs and where the sort of dark areas need to be, where the contrasting places and definition need to be. So I'm turning my light pad on and off. Keep looking at the dress, keep looking at your reference material. Don't just trace. It's really important that you just keep doing this. I'm going back to putting a little bit of the red in where I don't want too much black. If I put too much black near the face, it's just going to detract away from the features. I've kept it really simple because it's an A3 figure. The face is very small, so I've kept that really simple. So moving back into the black now and using a heavier line and defining that beautiful bodice. Working on the gloves, making a slightly sort of wiggly line, so, and I'm putting some creases in so you can tell she's wearing gloves. But just simplifying that. I mean, I don't think this dress needs anything at all. I mean, you'll see I'm not even going to put any details on the footwear. You know, normally I'd find some fabulous shoes or whatever, but I just really wanted to show this dress off within its own merits. It's just amazingly designed dress. So I'm adding some layers here, bit of definition for the layers. So I'm using some artistic license because I can't really see the entirety of the design. in an ideal world, you'd have the Alexander McQueen dress in front of you. So just moving down into the leg and putting in a sort of platform boot. I'm just going to add some wash on there to make those lines bleed inwards a bit, and that's all I'm going to do to define the footwear. You see, I keep turning the light pad on and off, going into a little bit more detail of the rose shape now. I'm really just putting in the finishing touches. I hope you've had fun with this tutorial, and you know, try a few different times. Just you know, don't always get yourself into a really good state of mind when you're drawing. God, if it needs a glass of wine by your side to keep you nice and loose, then go for it. There's no hard and fast rules, you know. So yeah, just try it over and over until you get a style that you like. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial.